Okay guys, welcome back, and today we are doing the next video in the panic attack mini series that we've started. So you can see there's a couple other videos to introduce this topic and how we kind of got onto this, and today's video is going to be about the tactics that we can implement right away to help minimize and hopefully kind of eliminate our panic attacks. And I mentioned in the previous video that this is kind of a front line of attack. This is an approach you can use, if you're overwhelmed, you're having kind of unexplained panic attacks, and you're kind of confused about what's happening, you need to do something and you're not really sure what to do. These are some things from my own experience and kind of from a good amount of research that are kind of the best tools to implement that don't cost money and that are fairly simple. So simplicity is kind of the name of the game here, and also suspending your disbelief to be able to put these things into practice to be able to get some results. So if you're in the throes of some really bad anxiety or panic attacks that you can't seem to control, it might seem like you don't have any power or agency to be able to change what's going on, and it's simply not true. The anxiety is definitely distorting your thoughts. It's distorting some of the way you're perceiving things, and it's going to make you feel like there's not a whole lot you can do about what's going on. But we're going to cut right to the tactics, kind of in order of the impact that they have. And I want to say 1 and 2 are almost a tie, but I'm going to put, I've kind of decided which one to put first, and I'll kind of explain that. And that is diet. And I used to roll my eyes at people suggesting that diet could be a important tool for mental health, and my opinion has kind of changed kind of 100% on that topic. Diet is absolutely huge, and it's going to be one of the biggest tools that you can leverage starting today to get your anxiety and panic attacks under control and to stop being helpless towards them. So we'll probably do a video on each of these interventions, but just, to make it really simple, diet is the most intimate relationship that we have with our environment, and it's the biggest way that we are communicating to our body with information. So if we think of giving our body signals, nutrition and what we ingest, that is the biggest sort of point of contact to our environment. So it's going to send really powerful signals to our body, right? And we kind of intuitively know this in terms of, we got to eat to fuel ourselves and that kind of thing. But what we don't understand a lot of the time is the messages that we're sending to our body with the foods that we're eating. So there's different kind of levels to this in terms of what you need to do or what you need to avoid. And to keep it pretty simple, the low-hanging fruit, and once again, this might sound simple, but 5 days to a week of this can make a huge difference. And then building on that, some people are able to totally, minimize or be free of their symptoms by cutting these things out. So the low-hanging fruit, cutting right to it, is the obvious crap, the obvious kind of junk food, you would say. So anything processed, a rule of thumb is more than 5 ingredients. You're probably that's already not a good signal to send your body. A lot of these things, the biggest offenders being sugar and seed oils. Our bodies simply don't know what to do with them, don't know how to process them. Sugar is going to spike our blood sugar, and we're going to have a dopamine reaction. We're going to feel good. A lot of people talk about comfort food, right? So you're going to feel good at first. In fact, with anxiety, some people go to grab that. That might be their first thing, is like chips, chocolate, a sugary drink, like whatever. And in the short term, that might feel good, but it's going to spike your blood sugar. When your blood sugar spikes, you're going to feel good, then you're going to crash, and you're going to have this oscillation kind of in your physiology and in your chemistry, which is really just going to give ammunition to the panic attacks. That's where it gets to the point where you don't have, much control physically or mentally, but it's just happening. Your body is reacting to these things. So the processed foods is huge. Cutting that out, cutting out the junk. That's basically anything that's kind of prepackaged, pre-made, ready to eat. which I know sounds shitty, but hey, if you're already feeling really shitty, why not give this a try and do that? So it's cutting out the junk food, and along with that is cutting out sugar. Sugar is in the same category, but maybe the next big thing is cutting out sugar. And there's even healthy sugar. So like, even things like honey have like tons of sugar in them. Not that you're downing tons of honey, but sugar is going to be a big factor there. And it's going to make your body more reactive. Your blood sugar is going to be up and down. It's going to inflame your body, which once again just gives more ammo to these panic attacks. And so you're going to want to cut the sugar right down. You're going to want to bring sugar right down. Junk food, sugar. Another one is going to be carbs. Now, obviously, some carbs are fine, like healthy. They call them slow carbs, so kind of like the more like a whole food, like a potato or something. Once again, if we get more extreme, we'll talk about kind of minimizing even that stuff and going towards like a keto or a carnivore diet, which I think is the biggest lever to pull for your mental health. But just starting out, the low-hanging fruit is going to be a lot of these carbs that kind of, once again, they're often in the processed food kind of category, but you can look on things and see the carbs that are in them. So you're going to want to cut out a lot of the breads and the pastas, the cakes, the cookies. Like, you're going to want to dial that stuff back and remove it. And along with that, a lot of the sugar is going to go as well, which can be hard. But like, worst thing you can do is like pops and energy drinks and stuff like that. Which brings me to the next thing, which is stimulants. So like alcohol and caffeine, gone. You got to take those out. That really sucks, obviously, because it's a coping thing for a lot of people. And maybe you need to titrate down on your coffee or your alcohol. But if you want to feel better, like alcohol, man, that's probably the biggest, one of the biggest things, along with diet, to just, you gotta cut that out for a little bit to see how you feel, because that, it's a depressant right off the bat. And indulging even a little bit, but a little bit sometimes fine, but more than a little bit, you're setting yourself up for, once again, a response by your body that you can't control, which is gonna build off of your fears and make those panic attacks even worse. So you gotta take out those stimulants, and it's gonna have a huge effect. So that's usually the big ones are caffeine and alcohol for people. Taking those out, and that is gonna have a huge impact. So that basically leaves you with whole foods. And if you want kind of a pillar to build off, like there's lots of kind of models out there, like a Whole30, kind of a clean keto diet, paleo. Those are kind of the more formalized versions of taking these things out. But if you want the low-hanging fruit, it's no foods with more than 5 ingredients. It's really dialing back your carbs and your starches. It's no sugars and no processed foods and no vegetable oils, which is kind of like up there with sugar in terms of anything that's pre-made. It's going to be there. And then it's the alcohol and the caffeine. Once again, caffeine will get you ramped up. It'll get you feeling good for a little bit, but then you're going to be primed for a panic attack. So if you want like a big result in a few days, and you want to really challenge yourself and have a new kind of take on your anxiety and the agency that you have to take control of this, these are things you got to do it. You got to try it, even if it's just 5 days. It can substantially bring down your anxiety and panic attacks at some point, to where it's not even a problem anymore. The other piece that we're going to get into, and this is number 2, is the meditation piece of things and the mindset. And now that I think about it, this video is getting a bit longer, so maybe we'll save that for the next one. But that'll be the next piece, is kind of the mindset, meditation, creating space between your thoughts and what's going on. So if this is your fears and your anxieties, they're right in front of your face. Meditation and some mindfulness, even like 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes a day, you can start to bring that out, and then you start to be able to see other things in your life, and you're not focused in on that. And it's another tool, it's a muscle that you slowly grow that then separates you, so these fears aren't as overwhelming. And so, and our brains actually do change when we do this. This is becoming more and more mainstream and more, commonly known information that the neuroplasticity in our brains, it's like working out. We can actually change. So we can change the habits and the reactions we have for that kind of anxiety muscle memory, which we'll also talk about, which is like even though you are starting to feel better, it kind of keeps coming back because you're used to it. But yeah, bringing it back around, biggest first intervention you can make is cut out the sugar, cut out the processed food, start eating some whole foods. If you're up for it, give like a full-on paleo, keto, or Whole30 approach for even just start out with a week, where you're going to see huge impacts on your mental health, and it's going to put you in a position to where you want to do more. So yeah, sounds stupid to a lot of people. A lot of people hate being told to do this. I hated being told to do that. Thought it was just bullshit, and it's not. It's 100% a huge lever you can pull. There's more and more people talking about this, more and more people having success with this, and then kind of as you work along with this, you can find out what works even better for you, and people have amazing transformations. It's a big tool in my life, and it continues to be as I try to optimize it, but I wish I'd known that other times. Experiencing a lot of panic attacks and things that feel like you can't do anything. This is a way to take some agency and to really, take action. That's you. It's not a dangerous medication. It's not an expensive therapy. It's, I say at least 5 days. Do that to start to see a difference, and then obviously longer if it's going to help you. But that's all for today. The diet is a huge intervention. There's tons of information out there. I recommend Diet Doctor or MeatRx for success stories on mental health and diet and the ways it can affect you. Another person I've learned a lot from is Kelly Brogan. You just Google her, Kelly Brogan psychiatrist. Awesome information on food and mood, and the tools that we have readily available to pull these levers and really, take back a lot of control, and also start to understand the language of anxiety, that it's, our body's speaking to us, as we talked about before, how we can interpret that and then talk back to our body and to our mind by, first and foremost, that building block, which is the interaction between us and our environment. That intimate relationship and contact between us and our environment is the foods that we put in our mouths. And a lot of those foods are sending the wrong signals. They're sending, high reward, which is then sending, high blood sugar levels to your body, and it's going to initiate the fight and flight response so much faster, and it's really gonna make you prone to, your worst kind of levels of anxiety. So give it a try, guys. Cut that stuff out. It's a huge lever, and I wish you all the best. And in the next video, we'll get into the next tactic, which is more of the mindset, mindfulness stuff, and then just keep going on from there, because there are more tools you have and more things you can do, and we're just going to keep building on this. But I hope you give that a try, and I hope it helps out. Take care.